Welcome to day 2 of the historic Rally Festival here in the beautiful Apley Estate in Shropshire near Telford. This has been a fantastic event, not only because we've had over 50 iconic rally cars from the whole history of the sport, right from the early days, including the Mini, the Beetle, the Lancia Fulvia, right through to Group B, Group A, and then right up to date with WRC, R5 and Rally 2, but also because we've introduced rallying to 2 new stately home venues, and by God do we need some new venues and some new inspiration for where we take our rally cars and this wonderful sport and spectacle. And we've got them. The Apley Estate have been so welcoming. Some of us have stayed at Stockton House, which is a beautiful wedding venue here. They've got a farm shop which hosted the meet and greet and the regroup yesterday and was full of people. It was bustling. There were thousands of people, literally thousands of people there. It was really well managed. And the staff have been so passionate about bringing the rally cars here, including Lord Hamilton himself, who has a beautiful estate, I've got to say. We also today welcome 3 of the 8 stages to the Willey Estate, another stately home venue, hosting rallying for the very first time. Fair play, Warner Lewis, Dan Elmore and the rest of the team here at the historic Rally Festival, because these moments are important, and I've got a feeling this is going to be a poignant moment when it comes to not only demonstration events, but when we're losing places like Weston Park from rallying, who knows? I know that these venues are excited. I also know that there have been discussions. I was hearing over breakfast from some of the ladies who run the house that there have been discussions around investing in the venues to accommodate events like these if this goes well. And you know what? It has. The weather's played ball. The fans were out in force yesterday. I was joined by 1990 World Ladies Rally Champion Louise Aitken-Walker, and we have had some great action on the stages. So we're bringing you a flavour of the event. You can still get down here. There are 8 stages today. This is the second of them. There are 2 more on the Willey Estate, and then we're back on Apley to finish the day later on. HistoricRallyFestival.com is where you get your tickets. It's 15 quid each, and kids go free. It'll be cheaper than going to the cinema. And the entertainment, I know I'm biased, it's far better. So we've got a whole range of historic rally cars, and we come right up today, as I say, to bring you a look at rallying right through to modern day with that Rally 2 Fiesta of Will Nichols and Nick Broom. 1.6 litre turbo, 290 brake horsepower, so they say, 475 newton meters of torque, revs to 6,000 RPM. It's got a 5-speed Sadev sequential gearbox with Riga 3-way dampers, and the suspension geometry on those Rally 2 cars is formidable. It is an incredible sight if you've ever seen one of those up close, and one of the beauties of these events with no competition here this weekend. To remind you, it is a demonstration event, but it is run to Motorsport UK regulations. So it's run as a proper rally, which means the cars are far from parading, albeit some of the cars here are not suited necessarily to gravel, so they won't be flat out. The deal is stories as well that we'll come to through the field. There's Bob Beals, Mike Lefley alongside in their VW Oettinger GT. That car bought originally by Bill Bengry in 1958 and prepared for rallying when he was a VW dealer in Leominster. Great story. And the Oettinger GT part was made famous. It was a spec made famous by Pauli Toivonen when he won the GT 1300 class in the 90 hour. Let that sink in. 1964 Spa Sofia Liga Rally. This car here, I had a bit of a nerd moment, as you might expect, yesterday. This is a World Rally Championship star. The Mini lost its homologation, or ended its homologation, in 1986, but with Rover bringing the Mini back and giving it a bit of a new lease of life with the Sport Pack Mini and the new Rover Mini Cooper in the 90s, homologation came back, and this car did the World Rally Championship. Michael and Robert Plant, the Plant brothers, originally competed in the car. You can buy models of that car in that livery. Exactly. Here, the WRC Network Q Rally of Great Britain. It did WRC Monte Carlo, Rally Sweden, it did the Manx. And the Mini, with the advent of the new homologation in the 90s, changed from being a Group 1 car, where the sport started effectively, to being a Group A car. We also then went to the WRC with the Mini Countryman, didn't we? Little did they know in the 90s, when the Plant brothers were campaigning that car as a semi-works entry, I suppose, in those days, that there would be a WRC campaign for the most iconic car, perhaps in the world, certainly in rallying. But here's another of them. These demo events are gaining traction all over the world, particularly in Europe. And this pair have brought that Mark I escort over from Germany. Tanja Zingelmann-Harten, Corbian Zingelmann alongside. That car has done some work, but back in the day, it was Roger Clark and Timo Mäkinen in the early 70s, driving that when it was a works car. Tanya's actually competed in the German Rally Championship in the 90s and the early 2000s in a VW Golf GTI. She has some top 10 overall results as well. Took a break in 2003, then came back last year, 20 years on in that X-Works Escort, doing demonstration events. It's great to see it, and she has been throwing that thing around. If you're just tuning in, this is day 2 of the Historic Rally Festival. We're giving you a flavour of the event because we don't want to take away from the point of this event, which is to experience the sights, the sounds and the smells of these iconic rally cars up close and personal. And the organisers really do want you to come and experience that. If not this year, then perhaps next year. Keep an eye on things. This is going to grow. That's a car I love to see on the stages. It's been very sideways this weekend. How nice is it to see rally cars in a stately home setting again? We hope whatever you're doing, this is a nice little start to your Sunday morning. It might not be a competitive event, but hopefully the sight and sound of some wonderful rally cars, including that Toyota Corolla AE86 of Jeff Maybank and Crystal Desmet, will be putting a smile on your face like they're putting a smile on my face. Jeff, one of 2 New Zealanders doing the Historic Rally Festival this year. We first saw him 10 years ago. He was doing demonstration events in a Toyota Corolla TE27, like the one that Ian Beveridge drives in the British Historic Rally Championship, and like we saw on the Roger Albert Clark at the end of last year. Switched to that AE86 last year, and it is a lovely car, really nicely prepared, and gives us a good look at why those cars became so popular. That's another car that has been driven really well this weekend. Some of these roads in this stately home venue have been freshly graded before this event, which is why you can hear a lot of the gravel being dragged up under those wheels. But fair play, the venues have done a lot of work to get these roads ready for rally cars. Barry Pavey with Kim Wells-Burr alongside. Barry has been busy, a lot of class podiums in that Escort in the last couple of years. A double amputee with no adjustments to the car whatsoever. He's a well-known face on local club rallies, and he does love these events as well. Good to see him out, and good to see that pair absolutely chucking that Escort around this weekend for the fans. Thousands of people joined us yesterday, and the atmosphere with the rally show that was on here and the various traders and the exhibitions on the Apley estate made it a real festival feel. I guess that's why it's called the Historic Rally Festival. I've been really impressed, you know. Ian and Caroline Hill just catching the sump guard on the gravel there on their Manta. Could you have a Historic Rally Festival event without an Opel Manta? I don't think you could. In Group B, in the WRC, the Manta had limited success. It was seen as a warmed-up, dressed-up Ascona, date back to the 1977-78 season. Really, the technology under there, and it was battling against the Audi Quattros. It was really designed to do battle against Quattros and Lancia 037s, both of which we will see very shortly. It struggled, but in the BRC, in club and national level, the Manta became an event winner and a fan favourite. Jimmy McRae, Russell Brooks, Bertie Fisher. The roll call of legends is endless. For that Ermshire-Cosworth collaboration of the Manta 400, rekindled nicely with the Group N Manta in dealer team Vauxhall colours here this weekend of Ian and Caroline Hill. And there's a car that needs a lot more credit than it perhaps gets in rallying, the Lancia Fulvia 1600 HF. Andy Bounds' dad bought that when it was 2 years old as a silver Lancia Fulvia. It was double the price of an E-Type Jaguar as a road car back in those days. 2.5 grand for an E-Type, nearly 5 grand for a Lancia Fulvia, but he turned it into a rally car to emulate his works rally heroes, because the Lancia Fulvia was actually the first World Championship winning car for Lancia in 1972. It was known as the International Championship for manufacturers back then. It had won plenty of Italian rally championships before that, but that car's been in the family ever since, and Andy Bounds and Adam Dognini were enjoying themselves yesterday. They sat out the last couple of stages to watch the cars through the stage and enjoy some time with the spectators, park the car up in the spectator area. And that's one of the joys of this event as well. You can do it your way. So if you do have a historic rally car, something very special, sat there waiting to see some action, but you don't necessarily want to do a full competitive event. By the way, this can lead to that, and we'll come to a few examples of that as we go through the entry. This is a really nice way of doing it. There's the Group 2 escort, Rob Jones and Graham Smith. First time back in the car since COVID. The last time we saw them out was in 2019. Like many of the competitors on the entry this weekend, have done plenty of competitive events as well as these demonstration events, but it does work the other way around, as I say. David Bonning, Dan Elmore, two such examples of people who came out. Andy Waldridge as well in the Escort World Rally car, the Metro 6R4 and the Hyundai Coupe F2. Three examples of drivers who did demonstration events and then did competitive rallying as a result of getting the bug. Because the Mark II under that 1000 shell, but it's got a modern Duratec engine in it with that Motorcraft livery. It does remind me of the old Motoring News road rally days. And don't forget, if you're a fan of those, do not miss the chance to join me and our host of Yorkshire Motoring News Road Rally Legends next weekend at the Motorist, next Saturday, the 12th of October. Myself and Jonathan Pullin, who is going to be launching his new book there as well, or pre-launch ahead of his big launch event later in the month, are going to be joined by Pete Smith, Tony Saddington, Jeremy Matthew and Alan Hill for some stories of those amazing days and nights in the lanes. That's next Saturday at the Motorist. Go to the Motorist website for tickets. They're just £15 and it's going to be an epic evening of rally stories. It'd be great to see as many of you there as possible. What a sound that is. John Marshall, who hasn't been in the rally car for, I think he's had 4 years, in that full British Rally Championship spec, original MG ZR Super 1600.